The U.S. Senate has passed a controversial bill that contains provisions opposing the boycott, divestment, and sanctions campaign against Israel. The bill was passed under massive pressure from pro-Israel lobbies in the United States as the BDS campaign gains momentum across the world. President Barack Obama is expected to sign the provisions into law. The provisions require U.S. negotiators to stand against any BDS move during the trade negotiations with the European Union. This comes as several groups and organizations in the European states have already supported the campaign against Israel. The BDS, which initiated as a grassroots movement in 2005, aims to use the economic sanctions and to end Israel's occupation of Palestinian territories. The United Nations Security Council convened Wednesday for a briefing on the situation in Palestine. During the monthly session, escalation of Israeli crimes against Palestinians was highlighted. Our correspondent in New York, Caleb Maupin, has the details in this following report.
Jeffrey Feltman, the United Nations Undersecretary for Political Affairs, briefed the United Nations Security Council members over the situation in Palestine. He described increasing violence from Israeli forces and the destruction of Palestinian homes.
The demolishing of homes and structures in the West Bank has also continued. This month, 52 structures, including 17 residences, were demolished, leading to the displacement of 29 Palestinians, including 17 children.
Feltman's report tried to draw the attention of the 15-member body to the conditions in Israeli prisons, where Palestinians are engaged in hunger strikes.
The Secretary General remains deeply concerned about the situation of Palestinian prisoners in Israel, notably those in administrative detention, including Khadr Adnan, detained since 8 July 2014 and on hunger strike now for 51 days. The Israeli government's decision on 14 June to reintroduce draft legislation to permit force feeding of prisoners on hunger strike under certain conditions, if approved by the Knesset, would be in contravention of international standards.
The report also highlighted that a group of ships has already departed for impoverished Gaza in an attempt to break the illegal Israeli blockade.
The Secretary General is closely following media reports which suggest that a flotilla is expected to group and heads toward Gaza in the coming days. He continues to believe that a flotilla will not help to address the dire situation in Gaza and reiterates his calls on the government of Israel to lift all closures with due consideration.
David Letwin, a Jewish anti-Zionist, says that as Israel escalates its crimes, opposition to it among Jews is increasing.
They don't speak for all Jews around the world. They speak for some Jews, for sure. But there's a growing number of Jews who recognize Israel as a racist apartheid regime that has been an apartheid regime since its founding.
The flotilla headed for Gaza, as a direct challenge to the Israeli military, will have Basil Gattas, a member of the Israeli Knesset, on board. Caleb Maupin, Press TV, New York.